Children of Hope does is bring us true, authentic African Oromo voices, and all I am is a conduit. All I've done is, having found those narratives way back in the 1970s, at last there's a chance to allow the children to tell their story. It's not me telling their story. The children are talking to us across the centuries. They told their stories about how they were enslaved, and then after that, when they were liberated in 1888 and 1889, they were interviewed, and that's why we have them. And there were 64 little children, so I can't tell you each of those 64 stories in the time available. It's hard enough telling two. But I've selected two because they form a beautiful dichotomy. The first is a young boy called Talasa Wayesa, who was enslaved and later liberated in September 1888. And a young girl. Many of you who've read the articles on the internet about Bishu Jasa, she's probably the most famous, the best well-known of all of them. She was liberated 11 months later in August 1889. While these two children shared the general experience of capture and liberation, they present an interesting set of dichotomies, in fact. Their homes were 300 kilometers apart. They were captured by different groups of people at different times. They traveled by different routes, and each was eventually taken to a different slave port on the Red Sea 11 months apart. They were rescued and liberated by crews of the Royal Navy aboard different ships which took them both to Aden at different times. Then they were both taken in by the missionaries of the Keith Falconer Mission of the Free Church of Scotland at Sheikh Othman, which is an oasis some of you may know. It's about 20 kilometers north of Aden in Yemen. Their lives thereafter synchronized for about a decade before the decisive bifurcation. The fields need to be ploughed, or crops need to be reaped. It doesn't stop, and so that whole contact and identity with nature influenced their perception of ideas like just stopping and not doing anything. So I've added a very, very telling and encouraging sort of trait that was my first inkling into Oromo involvement with the environment. It's embedded, it's integral. After earning his, this is one more photograph just before everybody started leaving. An older Bishu is there marked with a red arrow, and Talasa with another red arrow below. By May 1899, he was working in East London. Then on the 11th of October 1899, the Anglo-Boer War. Before yesterday, they shelled the position where we were and killed one man, wounded about half a dozen others, and killed a number of transport horses and mules. It is easy to speak about war, but it is very hard to look on the dead and wounded men. I did not like to look at the man who was shot by the shell of the Boers. The shell knocked through his breast and came out at the back. Our transport is in the fighting line, while the transport belonging to other regiments keeps about half a mile from the regiments. Being under cover of the guns, a number of our mules were shot. I cannot tell you all that is going on just now, but I will tell you sometime, if I return safely. A fine Oromo legacy spread across at least 3 continents. Here are the last 9 Oromo at Lovedale in 1898, and Bishu is marked with the red arrow standing in the back there. She had trained in the meantime in the girls' industrial department at Lovedale. That meant she trained as a domestic servant, but she had no intention of being a domestic servant. She had set her sights on being a teacher, and so she did. She trained and he left Lovedale in 1902 to take up a teaching position in a little town called Craddock. And during her time at Lovedale, she'd made friends with a man called Frederick. One, Mulatto Billy, made his way to the United States as a sailor. Sadly, the final third had died. By 1913, the Congregational Union had posted Frederick Skierpers to a congregation in Bethelsdorp, a small town near Port Elizabeth, where he and Bishu settled. Their youngest daughter was Dimbiti Bishu Skierpers. During this period, Bishu contracted diabetes, and by the time Frederick died, aged only 49 in 1920, Bishu was totally blind. She was only 45. Dimbiti followed in her mother's footsteps and became a primary school teacher, and on the 12th of November 1933, she married a Craddock carpenter named David James Alexander. Their firstborn son, born on the 22nd of October 1936, was Neville Edward Alexander. And there you see Bishu in her various stages and ages, and there on the right-hand side is our South African struggle hero, Dr. Neville Alexander. He had clear personal memories of his grandmother from his childhood in Craddock. As she grew older and her diabetes had robbed her of her sight, she reverted to speaking in her mother tongue. Neville recalled how his younger siblings were disturbed by her mutterings in a foreign language. They all ran to their mother, Dimbiti, saying, "What's wrong with Ma? What's she talking about?" And Dimbiti would respond soothingly, "Don't worry about Ma. She's talking to God." One of the most profound of all her influences in Neville's life was the focus on the value of education. From her earliest days at Sheikh Ottoman, Bishu recognized that the key to her future lay in that education. This belief matured at Lovedale, where Bishu decided that her own hard work in the classroom would open the doors to an independent life and self-sufficient future. As a BBC interviewer in November 2011 reported, "The strongest parallel Neville can draw between his life and that of his grandmother is the role of schooling." And then, this is Neville's voice quoted, "Her real liberation was not the British warship, but the education she later received in South Africa." Dr. Neville Alexander received his tertiary education at the University of Cape Town.
By generously contributing to the association, normally when we all pay our regular dues of our membership, I know that Professor Mohammed Hassan pays double or triple just to keep this association going. This has been in fact going on for the last 33 years since its inception. Those of us who are members of the African Studies Association always receive a gentle reminder every year in January to prepare for the next African Studies Association, where we are presenting on Oromo studies. He does this to promote the Oromo studies at all forums, not only at the Oromo Studies Association. This, in fact, seems a little bit minor, but it's such dedication and behind the scene activity that Professor Mohammed Hassan and few members of this association did to promote OSA and bring it to this level for the last 33 years. But of course, Professor Mohammed Hassan's contributions are in the scholarship of the Oromo Studies Association. He has written books numerous articles published in reputable internationally recognized journals, several book reviews, commentaries, and many conference presentations. I believe he had never missed, or maybe he missed only one or a couple, of the OSA annual conferences and the mid-year conferences. But beyond the Oromo Studies Association, he had attended so many conferences related to the Oromo, or where the Oromo or issues were discussed, or Ethiopian issues were discussed in the United States, Europe, Australia, and Africa.
Today is the director of the Oromo Studies Center of this university, Rift Valley University. Okay, Anisa was born in Nairobi. In that sense, she's not an Africanist anthropologist like me, but an African anthropologist. But yet, I feel that her approach to scholarship more similar to mine in the sense that is conventional, more conventional. And she got a PhD from Sorbonne University in France with a thesis on the traditional knowledge of the Gambra, and then she moved to study the Wata and the Borana, and if I can describe the way their approach to anthropology, it is by, let me say, careful search of comparative sources, and always linking ethnography to theory, which is actually what is demanded to anthropologists. And I think this is the reason why she was capable to publish several articles in highly rated international journals. Some of them were co-author of Yamachu, some not. And if I may recall the time that Yamachu and Anisa met, it is at the 8th Conference of Ethiopian Studies in 1984. Yamachu was co-presenting a paper with Lambert Bartels on the concept of Ayana, and Anisa on the concept of time of the Gambra. You will find both themes in their presentation today. And I will conclude by saying that from that time a long collaboration started between two anthropologists with a perfect complementarity of qualities. The book that they will speak about today is the result of 10 years of dedication and love. So enjoy it.
So we want to talk a little bit, how does this idea of Shanan, Shungaya, Shangayo, Shango, and all these things, you find them in here, and this is originally constructed by Professor Asmarom, but Professor Asmarom construction is a little bit different from this one. In here you find the ABC, D and E are the Gogesa lines, the Gogesa heads of the Gogesa, and each of them represent an Bagada or a look. Now, under A, you see that 6 is the son of 1, 4 is the son of 6, 2 is the son of 4, 7 is the son of 2, 5 is the son of 7, 3 is the son of 5, and then back to 1. Now, this is father, son, and there is a difference of 40 years between the fathers and the son, and this is what you, Professor Asmarom calls Gogesa cycling Makabasa cycling through Gabesa. Lasted for almost, you can figure it out, I can, maybe about 6,480 years prior to the Gada of Taya. And the founding father of the Gada of Bidirdoke is supposed to be Horo, the first man. Mind you, we're talking about myth. We're talking about myth. And we're talking about oral tradition. We are only saying, we're not telling you that we are providing you with scientific data here. No, we're telling you that the Oromo have got their stories about where they come from, just like others have it too. So you better listen to the Oromo rather than others who don't even know what Oromo is telling you where Oromo comes from. So the Gada of Bidirdoke began with this fellow called Bidirdoke, Horo, the first man. And beginning with the first man, Horo, as the apical father of all the Oromo, which ended after 9 Jatam, now start the Taya. This is a different chapter in the Gada system. Now with this, this is the present Gada, according to the Basaguyo and Budaguyo, is a return to Horo. We are returning to the origin. The Basaguyo, the late the Basaguyo, killed by murderers, actually said that the Jatam of the Borana ended in 1991. And we were surprised. The Wayane came and took over in 1991. And you know what the Basaguyo said? He said there would be a 27 years of transition. I'm repeating his word. After 27 years, Wayane left. So this is a prophet. We reported this on an anthropological conference organized by Windy James in Arusha. We reported what the Basaguyo said. And some fools got up and said, oh, look at these guys, they claim to be prophets. No, we were reporting what the Basaguyo said. And thanks to the Almighty Wakayo, what the Basaguyo said came to pass.
Well, there are many scholars in this audience, specialists in cultural studies, anthropologists. I'm not an anthropologist, I'm a historian, but I read their work and try to understand. So the title just kind of appears that I'm getting into the territory with apologies. My presentation on cultural institutions is motivated by my desire to understand our situation. I've looked at historical documents, tried to understand what other scholars are writing and doing on Oromo studies, and with the interest, deep interest about the present, although I'm studying about history. I've decided to talk a little bit about institutions and the role of institutions. In fact, my colleague, Dr. Teferi here, has already been doing more research in this, but particularly on economic institutions. But I'm trying to focus on cultural institutions and try to understand and share my views about institutions and their role in shaping the society. If we can find some ideas in trying to solve our contemporary problems and chart our future. My concern and our concern, I believe, is the problem that we are facing and we have been facing for a long time. That the Oromo are numerically the largest population group in this country and in this region. There has been no doubt, in fact, among us about the situation, although some people did doubt until, in fact, the recent successive population censuses, population count confirmed this. But despite this numerical superiority and also our past, our history that we know, over the last century and a half, we have been facing enormous problems. So the question is, why are we unable to organize effectively to overcome these internal and external problems? Or despite this numerical importance that we have, which is obvious, simply put, what are the major factors that hinder the Oromo society to effectively organize culturally and politically? But whatever the case, we have not been able to exactly find out how to solve this problem. By raising this issue, I'm not just scratching old or new wounds or encouraging more finger pointing, blaming few individuals among us or others. My purpose is, in fact, to understand and with the possibility of addressing these issues. We may have different responses to these questions, or the questions of our weaknesses. Some may argue that we have already answered or solved some of these problems. Maybe we should be on the next.
Olbrateenye biyya handhuura biyya keenyaa keessatti wal arbuu kootiif baay'ee gammadaa. Dubbiin irratti haasa'uu barbaadu dura jecha filoosoferiin jedhaniin haasa'a. Filoosoferiin tokko maal jedhee warri filoosofii biyya lafaa kana karaa adda addaa hiikuu jedhe. Garuu rakkoo guddaan akka itti geeddaranidha jedhe. Yeroo hundaa rakkoo keenya baay'ee haasofna. Rakkoo keenyas baay'ee qoranna. Garuu gaaffii yeroo haasofne booddee gaaffiin uummatarraa dhiyaachaa jiru rakkoo keenya kan akkamitti hubannee furuu dandeenya kan jedhudha. Waa'ee rakkoo furuu kana yoo dubbachuu hin dandeenye seenaa wanta baay'ee haasaa yoo oollee seenaa haasofnee gallaa jechuudha. Garuu hiikaa fidanii rakkoo furuun salphaa ta'uu baatellee karaa irratti barbaadanii irratti dubbachuu barbaachisaadha. Kanaaf waan irratti dubbachuu barbaadu jaarmaa hawaasaa ijaaruun humna uummataa jabeessee furmaata akka itti barbaaduun danda'amu irratti. Har'a utuu hiikaa isaa bira hin naqin rakkoo Oromoon yaa sagalee xiqqoodhaan ibsu barbaada. Har'a yeroo uummata Oromoo irra keessa jiru hirrina jaarmaa hawaasaas haa ta'u jaarmaa polotikaa hirrina jaarmaa hawaasaa dhabuu keenya kan waan barbaanne argachuu dadhabne amma yoona karaatti danqabnee daddaaqamaa jirruuf waan kana ta'eef maaltu nurra ga'aa jira rakkoo keenya hiikkachuu karaa polotikaa karaa dinagdee karaa hawaasaa furachuu dadhabne ummati keenya beelaaf dhukkubaaf hiyyumaaf wallaalummaa keessatti rakkachaa jira. Dubbii guddaan amma gaa Oromoon of gaafachuu jiru attamitti kana keessaa cabsinee baana kan jirudha. Kanaaf kana keessaa cabsanii bahuudhaaf jaarmaa cimaa kan hawaasaas haa ta'u kan polootikaas haa ta'u jaarmaa cimaa ciniinee nyaapha isaa dugda kutee uummata Oromoo humna godhachiisee gara fuulduraatti adeemuu nu barbaachisa. Egaa jaarmaa keessumaa haasaan koo jaarmaa hawaasaa irratti uummati jaarmaa hawaasaa cimaan qabaanne rakkoo furachuu hin danda'u. Amma ammaatti rakkoon uummata Oromoo calli madeetu warra polotikaa adeemsitutu rakkoo keenya nu hiikee taa'ee eega. Kun baay'ee sirrii miti. Uummata Oromoo tocha'ee eega mootummaa bira ga'ee booddee gara booddeetti deebi'ee taa'ee rafe. Maaliif kuni jaarmaa ciniinee kutee iddoo Oromoon barbaadu kan ittiin ga'u dhabuudhaan. Egaa rakkoo keenyaaf kan madda ta'e karaa lama. Tokko karaa alaa kana sinuu beektu maal akka ta'e. Maaltu nurra ga'ee keessa deebi'ee dubbadhu. Irratti baay'ee katabne irrattis baay'ee haasofne. Garuu rakkoo keenya kana namoonni hundiyyuu baree jira amma seena. Durillee badaan barree moo baree jira. Karaa alaa eenyu fa'itu garba nu godhatee nu fe'atee nuti taphachuu akka barbaadu hin beekne. Garuu kan hundumtu namni hubatee kanaafituu waggaa sadan kana tocho'ee warra nu rakkisaa jiran akka isaan nurraa badan godhe. Karaa keessaa nu hin galin jira. Rakkoon nu keessaa maddee nu hidhee morma nu qabee jiru maal akka ta'e hubachuu dhabuu keenyatu rakkoo guddaa keessa nu galchee jira. Kun immoo maal nu godhee ummati keenya utuu humna qabu maqaa jaarmaa cimaa jaarmaa hawaasaa dhabeef maqaa jaarmaa polotikaa dhabeef rakkina guddaa keessa galee jira. Dhugaadhumatti Oromoon wallaalaa ta'ee jaarmaa cimaa dhabee miti. Karaa alaa waan itti duulame karaa alaa waggaa 50 caalaa irratti duulame ajjeesuudhaan jaarmaa Oromoo diiguudhaan facaasuudhaan waan namni alaa nu godhatu nu keessatti immoo deebi'ee hunda keenya nu miidhee jira. Kanarraa kan ka'eef uummati keenya sagaleen isaa okkaamamee rakkoo isaa hiikkachuu wallaalee hidhamee taa'aa jira amma seena. Eega waan baay'ee hojjetee raate eega hubatee raate taa'ee ol ilaalaa jira. Maal goona jedhee ol ilaalaa jira. Kun akka ilaalutti waan namarraa burqe. Tokko beekumsa bilisaa dhabuu. Beekumsi baay'ee salphaa miti. Beekumsa iddoo lamatti ilaalla. Tokko beekumsa kan nama doomsan afaan Farajjiitti knowledge for domination kan jedhu. Kan garbiraan immoo knowledge for liberation kan jedhu. Amma akka ilaalutti knowledge kan itti nama ukkaamsan kan itti nama cunqursan ummata keenya mataa hidhee qabee jira. Beekota keenya nuyi warra baranna jennullee waan namni beekumsa ittiin nama miidhan mataa keenya keessa kaa'eef nullee mataa keenya nu hidhee gara fuulduraatti tocho'uu dadhabnee akkuma duriitti hidhamne jira. Namni wallaalaan hin jiru, namni waan hundumaa beeku hin jiru. Kanaaf uummata Oromoo iddoo jirutti namarraa eegee mootummaarraa jaarmaarraa eegee ijaaramnachitu hin ta'in gandatti lafa jirutti maree calqabuutu jira. Akkamittiin rakkoo jala baanaa, akkamittiin nagaa keenya eeggannaa jedhee mari'atee akka biyyoolessaatti walitti dhufee rakkoo isaa jalaa bahuudhaaf maree calqabutu irra jira.
Our research context. This grassroots community-based participatory action research explored how Oromo women and girls in Ontario, Canada draw on the cultural resource of Sinke and Adoye to nurture their health and well-being. Why focus on health and well-being? Well, most Oromos arrive in Canada as refugees fleeing from the political violence in Ethiopia, with their health and well-being already compromised. Why focus on women and girls? Well, women and girls are particularly culturally primed to swallow their own pain and care for their families, thus further endangering their health and well-being. Experiences of male discrimination in Canada and continued political violence against Oromos in Ethiopia aggravates their situation. Indeed, at the time we were conducting this research, between 2015 to 2017, the Oromoo uprising was at peak. The state of emergency was in place, and peaceful protesters were being mercilessly mowed down. This research must be considered in the context of Oromo repression in Ethiopia and the long-distance suffering in diaspora. Our research overview. Our research team is a diverse group coming from communities, hospitals, public health institutions, and universities. We are community elders, students, teachers, healthcare professionals, and senior research associates. In the context of such political violence and our collective agony, the only ethical way of doing research was by creating the research as a space of healing, where participation itself generates a healing process. As our guiding principle, we deployed 3 different tenets of Oromo women's Sinke epistemology: Safu, rationality, holistic connection, and empathic solidarity.
Mo'a